another round of RoughshodRamblings. This is episode 50, and I am here with a very special guest today, Impson Yawakia, who is from the Zuni Pueblo tribe. If I've missaid that, another round of RoughshodRamblings. Told you. This is episode 50, and I am here with a very... There we go. All right. Now that that's out of the way, because that always happens no matter how much I try for it not to. But here we are with who I'm calling a shaman. Okay, we have similarities, and when I first heard you speaking, I was hooked straight away. I was like, yes, I have to have a personal conversation with you. So how are you, and would you like to introduce and tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Okay, well, again, my name is Imsa Greg. I started using the name Greg when I was in the military because nobody could say Yawakia. So we can go by Greg, since pronounced four-letter word. And I am from Pueblo of Zuni, a native from the Four Corners area in the southwest part of the United States. And how we are well known, is that the Spanish Coronado, when he first came to Mexico, an exploration team up north, Zuni, the first tribe that made contact with them. And of course, one of the guys was not too, so what do the Zuni do? They executed him. Fray Marcos Deniza and his group ran back to Mexico and said they saw cities of gold. And that's what prompted the explorer to come up north. And so Zuni is known for cities of gold, Cibola in Spanish. And, we have been out there for no migration story started many years back. And, I could go into detail about that, but that will be a different podcast because it talks about, the Atlantean island of the time of Thoth, where we're one piece of land, and how we survived the cycles. And, but anyway, going back to where we are, I am from Pueblo Zuni. I was born and raised over there, and I started real young of what I am doing. I was taught to live a spiritual life. And normally, people don't start their spiritual journey until they're like about 17, 18, 19 years old. But I started mine at 7 years of age. And why is because I was awakened at the age of 3. My mom and dad were nut gatherers, we call piñons. My mom and dad wanted to go pick piñons, and they took me with them. On the way, I fell asleep in the car. They got out, went to a piñon tree, and started picking piñons. I woke up, got out on the other side of the car, and walked off in the woods. And I was missing for 2 weeks.
Oh, wow. Yep.
And the whole 2 weeks that I was missing, a sheep herder finally found me out in the middle of nowhere. And when I was found, I was not dirty. I was not hungry. I was clean and well taken care of. By whom? I don't know, but as I went through my training, and at the age of 14, when I decided to leave the reservation, one of my elders pulled me over and says, "Your reason why you're special." I said, "No, I'm not special, but tell me." He said, "The reason why you have all these special awakening gifts is because at the age of 3, you were abducted."
Okay.
I said, "Wow, okay." And, since he told me that, I have a little flashbacks every so often Like for a while, oh, I guess about a month or so ago, I was dreaming that I was in a spaceship on a med bed,
Okay. Yep.
and I have conquered death 4 or 5 times. You know, in this lifetime here on Earth, and and Zuni, my tribe, is a firm believer of space beings. We have it. We have them pictographed on our hieroglyphs back home, and we have the galaxy fraternity. And before we encountered the Spanish, you know, we didn't have a calendar, we didn't have a time conception, nothing, to where we had what we call a stargazer. And that stargazer would every night look at the stars and will tell you exactly, like he'll make an announcement. Okay, it's safe to plant now. We've had our last frost.
Yep.
So we start and everything. And then he'll make an announcement. It's time to harvest. We'll have our first frost in 2 weeks. Then the whole tribe will start harvesting. When I was growing up, Zuni was a self sufficient tribe. We did not have no supermarkets in reservation, nothing. We had a little trading post, but that carried just the basic necessities.
Yeah.
So, in my lifetime, as I went on along, I was taught to be a spiritual person. Learned about consciousness, learned about vibration, learned about our energy, and learned about the matter and how we can raise our vibration. And you know it's like I say, there's 3 levels of consciousness. There's the earthly conscious, which is the conscious, and there's the subconscious, which is your astral or esoteric consciousness. And then there's the astral consciousness, which is your ultimate consciousness, which is the universe. And I was taught to live in a higher conscious level, in the esoteric level, to where I can see shapeshifters. If I want to, I could probably get my energy up there to where I can do that. I can remote view. I
Yep.
can do psychic surgery
Yep.
and all that. But I just I gone astral traveling a couple times, but I just didn't feel the need to be up there at that moment. So I don't do that as often as often. I know with the proper connection, I can do it. So I have been doing this healing for over 54 years of my life, and I'm still doing it. I, you know, now, but now it's to a point to where my partner and I decided that we need to start sharing the knowledge.
Yeah.
So now our whole focus for 2026 is the teachings of ascension and hidden knowledge, is what the title of our thing
Cool.
is.
Yeah.
And I have a class coming up, online classes for anybody that wants to take it. And so I I am sharing the knowledge that I learned across the board around the world. I've been to Egypt, I've been to Israel, I've been to India. I was with the Buddhists. I got my Gohan-san from the Buddhists in Japan, and I've been to Africa, Central America, South America, and you know, chat with the shamans over there.
Yeah.
And we all have the same mission: raise your vibration, stay above the 3D realm, and when we heal, we fight in the dark.
Yeah.
And you know, and so now my classes are, I teach step by step by step. I do not miss a step because to me, the way I was taught, when you're dealing with the dark, you got to be able to know what you are doing and learn how to protect yourself, your patient, and learn how to cleanse because the dark is transferring.
Yes.
And if the residue gets on you, it could get on you and eventually get in you. So you got to be careful, and I've had a lot of healers that come to me and says, I need your help. And, then I teach them how to protect, cleanse themselves, and all this kind of stuff. I mean, I do it the native way, but it's just the way that I was taught. And I tell them, I said, this is my way, but I'm giving you the basic general information to where if it resonates with you, take it. If it doesn't, don't. And when I teach not to change anybody's modalities of healing or any kind of ceremonies. I just teach to where if it resonates, take it. If it doesn't, put it away.
Yeah.
I'm not here to change anybody's modality. I'm just hoping to here to enhance their, you know, gifts.
Yeah.
So that's what I do in a nutshell. And again, I started One Nation Tribal Alliance because our medicine wheel has four colors. That is red, black, white, and yellow. And it goes back to our migration story. Those were the four skin colors of the world. And so we go by that because back then, if you're red, you're red. You're not Navajo, you're not Zuni, you're not Lakota, you're not this, you're red.
Yeah.
If you're white, you're white. If
Yeah.
you're yellow, you're yellow. If you're black, you're black. That was it.
Yeah.
And so we have so much history
Mm.
that I have been studying. I was in Egypt in 1984, and I when I meditated, I had made connections with ISIS because we have a story about ISIS in our traditional folklore or no oral history, but he's called Matlokatsiki. But that is ISIS in our tribe. She taught us medicine. She taught us everything. She did what we did to transform into who we are now. Because the evolution of a human, is not who we are now, but in ISIS, the genetic and so I've learned about a lot, and even to go as far as people asking me, did Thoth ever make it? Yes, because Yawakia mounds, there's some Egyptian relics in the Mexican or in Mexico. There's a archaeological dig right now, and they're finding relics like the Ankh and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, if you go into the Emerald tablets, it says that Thoth ruled Central America, and one of the leaflet of the Emerald tablet was in the Sun
Yeah.
Temple, and so you know that I said, and to go a little, two explorers, Powell in the 1800s in Grand Canyon, where our migration story started, went in that cave, saw an Egyptian village, and it could probably house about
Yeah.
back up because they didn't have cameras or anything back then. Came back up and tried to get Smithsonian to sponsor another trip, but they got he,
Yeah.
the crew mustered up, but he didn't show up. The second person was came
Yeah.
1903. He found that same cave, went in it, picked up a couple relics, and said, "I'm gonna call Smithsonian. I'm gonna show these things to them, and I'm gonna explorers, and we're gonna go into that see what we can find." Well, everybody that mustered up and wanted to go exploring showed up, but those are things we know for a fact about it. And there's been others that have followed into them, but they never come out. So there's hikers
Yeah.
been going in there and go
Yeah.
and all of a sudden come out and not know. anyway, going back to
yeah,
what um, you know I'm here for is that basically sharing the knowledge is very important right now. And churches have failed, but a lot of people have gone away and going into the spiritual realm. And so people also look at the Native Americans for guidance because a lot of them, the Native Americans, kept their traditions alive, and that's what we do. And so, you know, I've done that, and my educational background is I went to college, did some graduate studies. I was in the it's like anything else, and now, I own my own business. I did job developing job placements for people with disability. I was taking them out of shelter
yeah,
workshop, taking them into the competitive employment, integrating them into the community, and pretty much busy with that most of my life. But now it's time to sit back and start sharing the knowledge. I'm not saying going fishing, but and that's what I need to do is share this knowledge before it gets lost. Because now I look at it back home and everywhere, the knowledge they are trying to receive is not fully taught. And so I want to make sure that when I teach it, I teach baby steps, step by step, to where one day when you get the knowledge that I have, you too can become a spiritual leader for the future generation because that's what we need,
yes.
you know. So um,
Do you?
that's in a nutshell.
That's that's really awesome. That's really awesome. I like the journey. I've got lots of questions. Do you want to? I believe you have a book. Do you want to share the name and the title and where people can reach out to you to join that course, to join the courses that you're offering, and more
Okay,
information on that?
to join the to join the course, go under One Nation Tribal Alliance. That's our website. One Nation Tribal Alliance.com, all one word, and and sign up. Give us your Send us your email information. Uh, we're gonna do $100 USD energy exchange, and because um, there's gonna be 13 sessions in this class.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't give it a time frame because I don't know how many sessions I can complete in one time frame.
yeah, yeah,
And you know, I I have a video out on One Nation Tribal Alliance YouTube channel that I just put out about this class. And the easiest way to get a hold of me on is Yawakia at yahoo.com
yes,
and say, hey, I'm interested in your class. And I'll get back with you and we could, make arrangements for you to join. And again, when I do it, it's going to be on a podcast video. So, like again, I don't know how many sessions I'll have, but if there's someday, if you can't make it to a session, I can send you a video copy of that session. You know, I can send you a video to your email.
yeah,
So, or if you can't make it, but you want the class, I can still send you the whole video, all the videos of all the whole class sessions that I'm having. So it's no biggie sending you a video to whomever wants it,
yeah,
whoever's taking the class that wants it too. So we do that, and my partner has a channel which is Love Expanded, and she does a lot of meditation and you know the chakras, raising your vibration, and all this training. So you might want to look at that under Love Expanded, and uh, you know we are working together to raise awareness of who we are because When I first started my training, the very first question that was asked of me was, "Who are you?"
Yes.
And they expect me to say that I'm the awoken one. They expected to say that, but I said I'm an infinite being, and that threw the elders off to say, "Whoa, that means we're going to have to change our curriculum to train you." But
Yep. Yep.
gives
We brought some new information into the elders that, I see us as we are our ancestors. We carry so much information within us. And when you were talking about you're not trying to change others' modalities, just enhance the abilities they already have. And
yes,
I resonate with that. For me, I woke up to going, okay, well, there's a heck of a lot more to what's going on in this delivery, this package that I'm part of. And once we get rid of what we call ruddy ruddy, which is rubbish, once we get rid of the rubbish that is not ours, that does not serve us any longer, because I work in the same lines that you do. From what you were saying, I resonate with it because I ended up being an advocate for people that were in situations that I had once been in and pulled myself out of. The darkest despairs, we can climb right out of and we can shine brightly. We're in those areas because we shine so brightly.
hmm
And I never had a teacher like you were saying that you went missing. Now I've got 3 or 4 times as a toddler that I went missing. We had the police out, we had the locals around, the family members, everybody was out looking for me. And each time, for me personally, I was out walking with an elderly lady who always wore her hair in a bun, and she always carried what I called a carpet bag, which was a tote, like a tote bag with
hmm
bits and pieces, magic inside. And when we walked back into the group of people that were looking out for, looking for me, when as soon as she let go of my hand, I was there. And so I relate that to what you were saying about when you went out looking for penis, the nuts,
piñas,
pinas. Yeah, that's it.
pine nuts.
Yeah, pine nuts. Yeah. Um, this is very similar, and I do believe that the entities that came in weren't of human origin, but of other worldly beings. Now, I do have a question that comes up with what you were saying about ceremonies, and so what is the importance of personal ceremony? Do you think that plays a role? What is it, and how can somebody step into finding out who they are through personal ceremony? For me, it's about frequency, allowing yourself to do the things you've been told that shut you down, like allowing the vocals to come out. So if someone says, oh, you got a funny laugh, just laugh louder. If someone says they don't like the way you sing, just keep singing. Just allow yourself to push off these negative vibrations, these negative stigmas that other people have to get through themselves. And this is how I progress. And it sounds, I'd love to take your course. I'd absolutely love to take your course because there's a lot of similarities there. So what do you think, getting back to the question, what do you think the importance of personal ceremony is in this time that we are in right now with everything that's going on?
Okay, the important thing is that stay above stay in a higher realm, stay above the 3D world. Because I mean, we can't help it; it's out there. But if you have to go like to the grocery store and get in that 3D realm, go through it, but don't become a part of it.
Yeah.
You know, and to me, everything we do, I, my partner is always reminding me about things to do. Like when we go out in the public, When we come back, the first thing we do is we wash our hands. We want to
Yes.
get that residue off,
Yeah.
get that negativity off.
Yeah.
And we have things that are around our house. Like we have a snake plant by the doorway. The snake plant will stop the darkness out there, keep it out there. We have cellulite to keep this area clean in our house. We have crystals to give us positive energy, stuff like that. But when I teach a class, I will transform you to where you're going to say, wow.
Yeah.
Like I will teach you to where you can actually feel. And if you keep practicing it, can actually, when I tell people how you can feel, meaning that when you open your hands and you tighten up your gut, you feel your energy come out of your hands. You keep practicing that until spark. You can literally see a spark come out of your hands
Yes.
from one side to another. You're going to say, wow. But I teach you that how to uh, represent yourself with the world and the spiritual world. Because at nighttime, your pineal is melatonin.
Yes.
Melatonin helps you go to sleep, but what it is an elixir from the world and the spiritual world together. That you're having an odd experience into the spiritual realm. But I tell you, when you get spiritual realm, learn how to questions. Don't
Yes.
just observe. Like like I tell people that people say darkness came after me in my dream. Oh, did you ask them what they want? Did you ask him who are you? Who sent you? He was just doing it. I said, see, you can. Don't stand up to it. Use your chakra, your voice, your command, the power you have.
Yeah.
Show them and your energy. When you have energy, remember you're an infinite being, direct connection to its. That dark is going by whose command they are following. And
Mm.
understand, Lucifer was also created by the Creator. Channels that dark is going through, not you. You and the Father and Mother. That's your Trinity. Father, Mother, and you. You have the direct connection to Mother Earth, to the Creator, where this dark entity has to answer and then come after you. So he can't be sourced, but the source is more powerful,
Mm.
you know, and that's why Lucifer is not himself, because so all these things I teach, even as far as know, learning how to see people's auras,
Yes.
you know, meditation stage. We to go into higher meditation stage. You can do a 5-minute meditation, be in a fifth or sixth chakra, and symbology. Symbology is very important. A circle with a dot is gold. That's a feminine.
Yes.
Why is that circle so important? Why you put a circle from the top of your feet, put a circle and find that dot in the middle. That's your navel button. That's how you're connected to your mother. The mother's connected to her mother. And da to the big bang.
Yeah.
You know? And there's a lot of symbologies that are out. Jesus and all the apostles and the saints. Why do they have halos on top of their head? Why do they? Because the pineal gland is actually your. How do you
Yeah.
know that? Well, how do you feel your light? How do you feel that light energy? You take a deep breath. You're like blowing on the kindle of a fire to where it flares up. The fire gets bigger. Take a deep breath. It gets bigger, and you can feel that universal energy coming through your body when you take a deep breath. And when you exhale, you're shining that light to the 3D world where you're like.
Mm.
And I tell people when you meditate like a tree. Raise your hands up. Take deep breaths. Feel that universal energy come through your hands. Come down on the bottom of your feet. because Mother Earth needs nurturing too. It needs that universal
Yes.
energy, and all these things that I share the knowledge of, then and everything. What's the purpose of this? You know, every little questions I do my best to
So
answer.
So here's a start for you. I do a program as well. I call it navigation. And it is, I start with the inner self, getting aware of who you are, not as the physical 3D. That comes later. It's like when you have to be aware of what's important to you. And when you find that essence, that whom this is just where I came from. I had to find who I was, what was important, what was worthwhile being here. And then I grew that from there. And from there, I was able to heal the wounds of that wounded child. And then that child was able to shine and become a fully grown woman. So from there, I was able to see the abilities that that child always had, but wasn't able to share. Now in her adulthood, she's now able to share it, and words are not needed for the experiences that she's able to give. Now, when I'm sharing with people, it's like find what is important to you, whom you are first, then work with the exterior so that you can take care of the vessel that is carrying you through this earthly experience. And then from there, we go into the inner child, the earth being, which is the exterior, and then etheric, if you want to call it that, or the spiritual, whatever terminology you want to use. I use the terminologies because where I come from spiritually, there is no words are needed. It's just a knowing. It's just a feeling state and a knowing state. And it's telepathy is very clear. There's telepathy. It's just in a look. We know what somebody is thinking, wanting, expressing, feeling. All of that comes into that package. So where
Hmm.
do you start? When someone new comes into your group, where do you start with them? What's the starting point? And we also have a question in the audience. Do you burn cedar when you're doing your rituals or your ceremonies?
I, I don't suit up. I don't have a big pomp of circumstance,
Good, good
as
on
I
that.
call them.
Yep.
You know, and because to me, when I go to places, a healing ceremony, and person gets up there and says, "Let me call upon the Father. Let me call upon this. Let me call." Why do you need to call upon them? They're here.
Yeah.
I mean, remember, Creator here, Mother here, and we're here. Why do you need to call upon them?
Yeah.
But I don't go interfering with them. I don't talk to them. I just go with the flow, knowing what my belief is. I will continue my way to where not being arrogant or anything, but I just say, this is the way I was taught. This is the way I'm gonna connect, and this is what I'm gonna do. Yeah, they may have a big pomp of circumstance where they got a big drum and da 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 and all these kinds of. But now, if it's a continuous ceremony, yes, I can understand the singing, the drums, and the energy that is out there because when you connect with all that, things happen. And we
Yeah.
do have all night ceremonies to where, we do, you know, we don't, we may, some people may dress in their outfits, some people don't, but, it's up to however they want, like when I go to a real deep, strong ceremony, you know, yes, I, I have to get to a point to where, you know, if I shapeshift to help people, it'll be for the positive things.
Yeah.
We had this one lady, that she was so strong in her healings that when she shapeshifted, her hands would become bird paws up
Yeah.
to her shoulders, and people they would they're so observant and want to know what's going on, and she can feel their energy about that. She'll go up to them and boom, grab that, use psychic surgery to grab that darkness and show it to them and let them see the bear paw,
Yeah.
that it is not her hand, it is a bear paw. What they're seeing is a bear paw and shapeshifting. And then she'll grab it, she'll dispose it, and she'll make a believer out of them, not because she wants to prove something to them, but because their spirit is doubting. The dark spirit is doubting, and if they she does that to them. But to answer now, yes, sometimes I have to get into my outfit so- for all night ceremonies. Like when I go fasting in my kiva,
Yeah.
we fast for 4 days. We stay in the kiva, and on the final night we do an all night healing ceremony for everybody in the village. And that's when we go all out and do it because, again, we have to all work as a team to bring in all our vibration, all our energy, focusing on our shrine, our songs, the beat of that drum, and everything, the song, the higher frequency of the music, the Safazio frequency music. Everything you have to connect to it, all that. And, shape shifting is easy.
Yeah.
You do a lot of more, a lot, not crazy stuff, but you do a lot more stuff than you anticipated doing, but sometimes I get told, God, you did this, you did that. How'd you? I said, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just let the spirit lead me.
Yeah.
I don't ask me questions. It's just like psychic surgery. I've done it for over so many years that people say, "How do you do it? How do you do it?" I say, "I don't know.
Yeah.
I just connect. I'm just a vessel to where it connect, and if it happens, I've several times I grab it and open my hands, and people that are watching it literally see it come out of my hand, and they go, "It came out of your hand. How'd you do that?" I
Yeah.
don't know. Don't ask me that question, but I'm just here to get it, dispose it, and
So
go
can you?
from there.
So have you been able to see what I call parasitical entities, like they feed off humans? Have you seen those on other people? Just like
Yes,
randomly
yes.
walking down the street or just different places. I mean, I see them everywhere. So,
Yeah,
just,
yeah, they're everywhere.
yep.
You know,
Okay, and the other thing was when you were talking about bringing in the light and the energy and stuff, I used to do sun gazing. I say used to because there was a habit there where I had every single morning, every single evening. I did it. It was like a ritual. It was like I had to do it. I had to do it, and I found that I wasn't hungry. I was able to fast without even thinking I was fasting. And I would bring that energy in and I would say, feed me, feed everything, expel the darkness from me so I could find who I was. Do you do those practices in your culture?
well, fasting doesn't necessarily mean starving yourself.
Oh, no, it's not. No,
You
no.
know, fasting basically is in again the native kivas. If you look at them, they're a circle. You go in from the side, you go up top, and go in the middle. If you look at that circle with the dot in the middle, guess what? That's the mother's womb.
Yeah,
So when you go into the mother's womb, you're like re-energizing yourself, finding out who you really are, what your missions are. If they gave you a vision or a mission or a journey to do this, and you have questions, fast.
yeah,
Get your answers. Don't just jump into it blindfolded because you'll lose.
yeah,
Read your instructions before you go in there. And fasting is like reading your instructions. Okay, I'm here. What do I need to do? Or you might be doing stuff that, wow, I never did this, but this, just because I did it once, that means I can do it. No, no. If you can do it until you get everything in precise timing, you know.
When, when
that
you
you can
when
do
you
it
were
blindfold.
when you were talking about the psychic surgery, I recently had an encounter where it took me a year to find my voice. I do like a throat singing. It's a type of throat healing. It's not healing my throat. It's the frequency that comes from it vibrates in different parts of the anatomy, and it pinpoints where there is what I call a deficiency of energy or a deficiency of flow. So, and I've been doing that. The more I've allowed myself to do it, I was in a meditation class where I was really in the moment of doing the meditation, doing the vocals that were coming out, to the point where I was no longer here, but everybody could see me physically and hear my frequency, but I could no longer hear or sense or see any of this. I was now in what I call another dimension, and I had a mission. And my mission was I was pulled into where I got my light energy. And I went, as soon as I touched it, as soon as I knew that I could get it, and there was no fear. Fear was totally off the scale. It was not existent. And that was one of the things that held me back. And I thought that through years I had let that go, false evidence appearing real. I let that go. And then this was the telltales, this was confirmation that I had by having this experience. The vocals with the no fear factor allowed me to step into the psychic surgery that I was doing. I knew that I was doing it and had been doing it for a long time because it was absolute automatic. I just stepped in, no fear, took the tools I needed, did the surgery, came back, and I was back here. And it took the other participants of the group that I was in meditating with, as well as my house participants, to get me back into here. So, yelling at me saying, come back, come back, come back. And as soon as I did, I realized, one, I had missing time. That missing time was I didn't know what was happening in this 3D realm, but I was still in this 3D realm. But I was very much focused in the surgery that I was taking on. And by stepping into it, doing it as I have to say, it was an automatic response. I knew exactly what I was doing. I was in and out, did the job, and I was back. And it was like, well, you don't have for me, I had to have been doing it continuously in the past and in another altered state to be able to know exactly what it was that I was doing. So, and we also have a couple of questions in the audience. So I want to know how you know you're doing your psychic surgery. And we had Cosmic Voice asked, when you went into the bear state, or the lady was in the bear state, is that like being a skinwalker? And we've got another one in capitals from Cosmic. The sun emits the source creator energy frequency. Without it, we do not evolve spiritually. What do you say to that?
Okay. Well, first of all, to be in the moment of psychic surgery and all that, I concentrate on the Creator, my Trinity, my mother and my father, and and I tell them, here's a spiritual being that needs help, physical help, and what I do, sometimes I don't know what I'm doing. I don't see myself doing what I'm doing
Yeah,
until it happens because when that dark hits, it's gonna jolt because they don't want you to get it, but you done broke their magic and broke their spell and broke everything they had, and you took it out, and they're gonna let you know they're not happy. So when I do that and it jolts me, my spirit automatically goes into that whatever it is and says, "Okay, We're strong. We're infinite beings. You're not going to conquer us. Give it up. Leave now. You know, and you command it to leave. Don't say, don't, I mean, with with your intention. That way they know you're not messing around.
Yeah.
That way they know you're connected to the Creator and Mother Earth. And when you are connected to them, sometimes look at, people say, why is your hands not straight? Why is it? That's over 50 years of psychic surgery that
Yeah.
has done that. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. It's not strong straight, but that's over 50 years. But I don't regret it. What I went through in life, I don't regret it. I live for the moment. I don't worry about the past because I can't change it. I don't worry about the future because it's not guaranteed. I live for the moment.
Yeah.
And when I do my healings, I tell the people, I'm healing your spirit. Because when we heal the spirit can heal the body. Because the body can rejuvenate if you allow the spirit to control the body.
Yeah.
The body can rejuvenate. I've healed people with cancer, all kinds of crazy stuff. And I say, you got to get your strong body, your spirit strong to where you'll heal it. And see, a lot of people says, I got to go to a psychiatrist. I got to go. The psychiatrist will not help you. If you learn about your frequency, if you learn about your vibration and all that, the psychiatrist not going to teach you that. All they're going to do is give you artificial medication to, you know, prolong whatever you got. It's
Yeah.
not going to cure it, but until you're not going to be cured until you get strong with your vibration, your energy, and your frequency. And people need to, say that, wow, how do you do that? I said, don't worry about it. Let it come. These gifts, when I share the knowledge, I tell them, let it come. When I teach people how to meditate, I said, when you meditate, this is how you meditate. If you're going to go into the higher realm, meditate like this. But let me tell you something. If you're going to go in the higher realm, at least let somebody know, because we got to watch your body. Because when you get into that higher realm, who's going to watch that? It's like
Yeah.
leaving a car running on a busy street. Somebody can easily get in,
Yeah. That's right.
So let somebody watch over you while you're up there. And when you come back, you don't bring nobody's along, you know, because it could easily happen.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of people come to me and says, "Hey, I don't know what happened, but this that." I said, "Okay, okay, this is what happened," and we get them out. But then they say, "Oh, I won't," but don't say anything. Just let it go. You
Yeah.
know, when you heal cancer, thank you for coming in. It's time for you to leave.
Yeah.
Don't- And when you do the healing, make sure everybody that is in there have no hidden knowledge or emotion,
Yeah.
because if anybody has that, it's going to go back to them, and you don't want it to do that, and they may not feel it right then and there, but once you start incubating and start getting big, yeah, they're going to feel it. So, all right. And you said the other question?
Oh, geez, I'm already gone from there. Okay, we have many. We have many. Okay, so I wanted to go back to when you were first talking about you went on walkabout. I call from my native background, walkabout is when you go on walkabout, spiritual walkabout, or a journey to find yourself with other beings, however, whomever turns up. So when you went on walkabout as your 3-year-old self, do you have any recall of the beings that you went on walkabout with?
It's starting to come.
Okay.
I've met the Ashur. I can see the Ashurians. I can
Yeah.
see the mantises,
Yeah.
and all that. So little by little, they're coming to me because we are building a trust bond.
Yeah.
I am building a trust bond with them to where it took me a long time because, again, my tribe has a galaxy fraternity. They have space beings in their kivas and all that. And I was taught that, but that was the time I had a hall pass to go to the bathroom all the time. I didn't really want to listen, but
Yeah.
it was up not until about 2 years, 2 or 3 years ago. My partner and I were coming back from my reservation, going back home, back to Arkansas when we were living in Arkansas. And we decided, I said, let's go through VLA, Very Large Array, where they have contact with space. These big, huge satellites they have contact with the space. Let's go by there. So as we got closer, my partner goes, I got to make connection. I got to do some light language. They're giving me a message I need to receive. I said, okay. So we pulled off on the side of the road where it was like a little rest area. I said, she said, we looked up there. These huge satellites were all pointing towards us. When she got out, stepped out to do her light language, all those satellites did a 180 and pointed away from her. And when she did her light language and she came back in the car, they moved back to the position of pointing towards us. I said, we got to get out of here. We done caused the chaos. And we did. We had to get out of there. And while we were leaving there, I kept seeing something following us, something silver. It wasn't a plane or anything. It just followed, keep up, and we slow down, keep up. And finally, I kept looking at it, and I noticed it didn't have no wings. It didn't have no exhaust pipes, nothing. So I asked my partner, I said, is that a spaceship? Oh, yeah. Oh, man. By the time I got my phone camera, get ready to that, it's gone. I said, now why in the world did they come to me? Well, as time went on, I started seeing them regularly. Shoom, they go, okay. Shoom, they go. I said, wow, what are they trying to tell me? Then we went to go meditate at the fire pit one day. And she said, you're going to meet my protector. I said, okay. So as we were meditating, big 6, 7 foot tall mantis came and telepathically told me at me. I looked at him. I am her protector.
Hmm.
I just want you to know. I said, thank you. And this is, we both are. Thank you. I said, no, thank you. Because in tune with us, then I am with you. I'll get to know you. And you'll get to know me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
since then, and I saw a lady that was doing some light language. There are two Arshurians standing next to her. And I said, wow. And she says, and at the end, she goes, yeah, my Arshurians came and were giving me the language or giving me the message. I saw them.
Mm.
Okay. Well, thank you. Panic? She didn't. She said, thank you. You're welcome. So connection can come many ways. Whether you be, or I could be just, like I said, sleep, spiritual and physical world, and to get both, you know, like I said, I started being on a med bed. Maybe why I survived what I went, all these challenges, I just finally said, you know what? You can do whatever with me. I'm still going to share my knowledge. Even if I have to go, even if I have to be wielding by wheelchair, hop on in with the crutches, I'm still going to do it. And that's when they all backed
Yeah.
off. And I became better. It felt like nothing happened. But
Yeah.
still got the scars from it, but okay,
Yeah. Can
that's
you
okay. And
are you able to describe what the Acturians look like that you saw?
the Arcturians were just, you know, bright, happy, you know, very content with what they're doing. They're powerful. There's one that was a just kind of gave me the lady, and he says, "I just you miss your mother. You're feminine. You're divine feminine. It's kind of low." And I said, "Thank you. Remember to keep it up."
Yeah.
So now to keep my Trinity going, I gotta. We are three things become one thing because and all that. So when I look at my mind, body, and soul, I look at my body part, the divine feminine. We come from the binary universe to make one. So I look at both my mom and dad. Say, okay, you know, I balance it out. I don't try to go one way or the other. I just balance them out. Thank you, and keep in balance and living a spiritual life. It doesn't mean getting up every morning, meditate, fast. It's not that. Spiritual life, keeping the spiritual life is staying connected. Staying connected. You know.
Okay. Here's the question, um, reformatted. Okay. Do you agree that the sun sends us frequencies, spiritual upgrades straight from the Creator? Cosmic Voice 33, except that it does. Do you? How do you feel about that? What have you got to say on that? Because I also do. I don't see the sun just as a ball of energy, flame, fire, giving us information. I see it as a portal to other realms and other beings coming through it. I've had solar beings come into my room while I'm being absolutely wide awake, like I am speaking to you, morph into my room and communicate with me. So, how, the question again was, do you agree that the sun sends us frequency, spiritual upgrades straight from the Creator? Yeah. And the second part of this is, what did the Acturians look like? I think you gave a description. Do you want to
Hmm.
give a description of that and then go into?
Well, okay. I know a lot of people get confused about this, but my personal thing with the Creator is I'm part of the Creator. I'm part. You know, He's in me. I'm in Him. And the only way I could describe that closer is a lot of Christians ask me, "Why do you think that way?" I say, if you believe in your Bible, look at John chapter 14, verse 20, where Jesus was talking about the disciples were asking, "Are we ever going to see the Father? Ever going to see the Father?" Jesus turned around, looked at him, and says, "I'm in the Father. The Father is in me. I am in you. You are in me. The Father is in you. You are in the Father, and we are one. We are all one." Jesus said that. Now, Thoth said the same thing too. Thoth is a divine master. We have a lot of divine masters that says the same thing. Polonius, Solomon,
Yeah.
you know, they all said the same thing because the more you study about the Greek temple of Giza, Solomon, Apollonius, and Jesus were all initiated in that temple.
I've got a question for you. Sorry, Cosmic. Do you have your own belief system, as per se? I don't like the word belief, but do you have your own belief system where it does not involve the gods, the goddesses, the father, the mother, my my teachings show me that we're all the same within the skin.
Yeah.
So I had an experience where I was doing a Fulong Dafa ritual. Well, not even ritual. It was an exercise. It was a meditation, a discipline. And through that process, I got to see what energies we were all bringing into life, so to speak. We were putting energy in, and it manifested in the middle of us. And I opened my eyes at a time when I got to actually see our energy undulating as one form. We'd brought it to life. So there was all of us, there must be about 15 of us in a circle, and we'd brought it into life just by doing, opening up our meridian lines and energy sources, and letting that flow. And for me to be able to see that, I saw there was another level too. And this is when I go into the psychic surgery, when I even look at the sun, I see that energy form available to us, and this is what I tap into as my healing form for others. When I go to do healings of any sort, this is what I tap into. I don't tap into the mother, the father, the Jesus, or any of this. So it's like, what comes from me, because I'm the one here doing the work, not them out there that have been with all and whatever labels and stuff have been put in that in their name. I mean, there's been a lot of carnage in the name of different forms of religions and belief systems. So I work from what I am capable of doing, not them. And when I go into a state of there's a shadow being or an entity coming in that is what I would call a negative form, not meaning that they're totally bad, because you can't recognize the good if you haven't experienced some of the darkness or the bad. I have to sleep with the knowing of both the light and the dark energies, if you want to call them that, to be able to move, say, I don't need you, dark energy, in this, because they all have their place. If we don't have that, there's going to be a massive unbalance. And this is what I'm seeing with the planet at the moment. There is this shift. There's been a shift and it's unbalanced our whole energy system. And when that balance gets put back into place again, then we won't have all of these um, okay, that's the next step, is the Jew weapons, the technology that's been brought in against us. So when I'm discussing this, it's there is so much more than just mother, father, energy, God, Jesus, belief systems. It's what we bring in right now. And once upon a time, you was talking about the ceremonial side, what we garb ourselves up in. We call it garb here when you're dressing up for a performance or a ceremony. It's like, if I hold that stone in my hand, I'm going to get that energy. If I hold that crystal, it's going to do this for me over here. To me, that was like gateway. That was the start of the energies that I needed to boost what I already had inside me. These days, if I get a pain, I just have to go like this, and I just have to remember what it is to pick up a painkiller, whether it's in a medication form or whether it's in plant form. If I put it between the fingers and I tell the brain, this is what I'm having, the brain will tell me it recognizes it, and the dopamine, and it'll recreate that, and I will disperse the pain sensations. Don't need drugs. I don't need medication. I don't need alcohol. I don't need all of that. I don't need the stones or the crystals. It's how deep you want to believe in yourself, or whatever it is you're believing in there. So my question for you is, how far back does the religion in your tribal upbringing play a role?
The migration story that we have. starts so far back. I used to tell people that humans were around when dinosaurs were around. And they tell me, "Oh, you ain't got no scientific evidence. You don't." Well, I do now. We have a place called White Sands Missile Range in New Mexico. They found one of the oldest footprints of human out there. Along with those human footprints were dinosaur footprints. But to me, that's how far it goes back or anything is irrelevant at this present time. But if you take my sacred geometry course, I start from the very beginning of that because the flower of life is the vibrational code of creation. Why do I say that? It's because this flower of life, which is the sacred geometry, starts off with first circle, right? Then it goes on to the second circle. Then it adds and add that. It was like that. The first zygote is when the egg go into the sperm hits the egg. Remember, we're both liquid. We're not a solid form. We're liquid, microscopic liquid. When it first connects, and as creation starts, every circle, every curve, every angle is like your body. We have every curve, every circle, every angle with millions and millions of organisms living in our body. But out of those millions and millions of organisms, well, the red blood cells that are in our body, 1% are white blood cells. Now, in this world, we have millions and millions of that are on Mother Earth, which is the body of Mother Earth. And we're hoping that this 1% cells, as the natives call them, the rainbow warriors, come together to heal Mother Earth. Mother Earth needs to be healed using the sacred start from the beginning. You know, this class that I'm going to teach touches up on it, but it can go deep forever. Drumvalo to me and says, How do you do what you do? I said, first of all, I believe in both ways. Where there's light, there's dark. Where there's positive, there's negative. Where there's right, there's left. I am walking in between. And he says, well, I'm trying. I said, I know that. I read about you. And you a couple books on geometry for our of life. But how you're balancing off on not both. It's not balanced. Where everything is balanced, it's easier. I mean, your answers clean comes quick. You know, when I done in the hospital, they said,
Yeah.
"You need some pain medicine." No, no. Why not? Because why do I need it? Don't you hurt? Yeah, the pain's there, but I choose not to accept it. You feeling the pain,
Yeah.
and you don't. I said, yes, I'm feeling it, but I'm not accepting it. If you don't accept it, it's not going to affect you. But if you accept it, it will affect you. Same with the people that have negative energies that come across them. You know that I tell people, I said, when they come to you and they start attacking you, do you ask them, what do you want? Who are you? Do you ask them questions? No, 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 you don't. You just surrender. But if you start asking questions and you expose them, guess what? They lose their power. So stand
Yeah.
up, use your voice, use your energy, ask questions. Don't just accept it, you know, meet it, meet it. And that's with everything. Meet it in life. If the craziness is going on outside your house, allow them. Don't try to intervene because you can't stop them. You know, don't try to be a hero because you can't. It's like, you know, your frequency on earth. You know, don't try to change the world. But if you keep your frequency up and all that, remember, the earth energy frequency will bend.
So, so
Believe
here's
you.
here's a question for you. So, um, when you like you were just saying metaphorically, stay in your house, don't go out there and meet it. So, a few years back, if you know what I'm talking about, I call it the jungle juice. When that went round, how did that affect you and your people out there? I mean, I saw how it affected me and mine, and I was one of the ones that said, no, thank you. I'm not going to put that into my system. I'm still trying to figure out how my system works. I don't need to put another additive into it. And watching those that did, I've lost a number. I've lost quite a few. And I've also watched a lot of the young next generations become disabled, have limbs amputated, go into having holes in their hearts, and all these other illnesses that now they will be plagued with for the rest of their life, and it will be in their line of genetics for future to come. How do you say stay in your house, don't take this, don't do this, don't do that, to when it's being forced, when it's right on your doorstep?
Well, it's not telling them, it's showing them.
Lead
By
by
raising your frequency, knowing who you are, by sharing that knowledge with them about raising your frequency and knowing who they are, you're giving them that energy and all this confirmation to say, you know, I'm not part of this world.
yeah,
You know, I am in this world, but I'm not part of it. And you know, yes, everybody was forced. You know, either you lose your job, and this is, but you know, again, thing about out here on a reservation is
yeah.
the government does not have any jurisdiction on a reservation. They don't.
So I have a question with that. If the reservation is run by the government and the people's put on that reservation, how is it not part of the government? How do they not?
The treaty
Yeah,
that the Zuni people signed, Treaty of Guadalupe de Hidalgo, all they say is that the government promised to give them fair education,
yeah,
fair health care, and to provide their needs. That was a promise that they would do. And so now the reservation is run by the people, not the government. You know, the reservation is run by the spiritual leaders. You know,
yeah,
yes, yes, we may have law enforcement officers. Yes, we may have this. Yes, we may have that. But if the elders say we don't like it, they have to leave. The state, county, federal law enforcement cannot come into the reservation unless they are invited. You know, and if a non-tribal member acts up and gets in trouble, the tribe will pick him up, take him to the end of the reservation, and say, "You're not welcomed anymore. If you come back, we'll file federal charges, federal trespassing charges against you."
Yeah.
And it took a couple of people to challenge it, and where they ended up, those are the consequences you get
Yeah.
for not obeying what you were told.
Not
So
going by what you were told. Yeah. Okay. So on that one, we do have a personal question in the audience. So you don't have to answer it if you don't want to, but I'll put it in a different way. Did you, in that time, get the jungle juice? No. All right. All right. So I hope that answers your question, Cosmic. Okay. So moving,
now, this
moving.
is what they did. This is what the government did.
Yeah.
The government, our government, came up saying that you take it, we'll pay you.
Oh God. Oh
You know,
no. Yeah. They did that here too. They
but
they they put out $100 food vouchers for people to go and get it, and this is like, to me, that's a desperation call. It's like you're hitting the most vulnerable where it hurts, and that's coercion. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. So
well, the thing about, like I said, when I was raised in a reservation, back when I was raised, Zuni tribe was self-sufficient.
yeah,
We grew our own food. We raised our own cattle. We raised our own sheep. We raised our own pork, chickens, and all that. We didn't have to depend on any outside resources to provide us those things. And now, you know, it's going to end up coming back to that because with all this kind of stuff going on, I went to I was watching this one conference that I was looking at. This little kid walked up there and says, "Why is everybody worried about food when food is free if you
yeah,
break a little sweat?"
yeah, yeah, yeah. If
You
you know
know,
where to look, learn to forage. Um, okay, going back to some of the traditions in the coming days. I mean, how do you see, as an elder? How do you see the reset, the new world order? How do you have towers? Cell towers. Do you have these frequency, you know, devices in your local space?
we have one
You
cell
have,
tower
yeah.
that's on the reservation.
Oh,
And
okay.
if everybody gets on that cell tower, you'll be lucky if you get on it.
Okay.
It overloads it. And it's not a 5G. And I told them, don't get a 5G, you know. And see, then they came around, says, guess what? We're giving everybody on the reservation free cell phone for life.
Oh,
But that's okay. Only one cell tower. If everybody gets on it, not everybody can get on it, put it this way. Or if it's snowing pretty hard, you're not going to be able to have any signal
yeah.
because
Yeah.
we're kind of isolated from the big city. The closest big city is like about 45 minutes away.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so, and so, you know, we did have landlines, which is not better than cell towers. And we did, we did that had a transmission, but that got no, and, you know, they're trying to give him high speed internet, but I don't,
Yeah.
so and I keep advocating that you know the kids, you know, down
Yeah.
on they need to look up. They need to look up what's up here because looking downward, and that's why the elders used to tell you when you look around, kind of tilt your head about 35, 40 degree angle because you're ahead. You're checking see if it's good enough. Don't be looking straight ahead, looking down because you can't see what's coming. Always kind of tilt your head, tilt it way high, but just kind of put up a little bit above the horizon to you can see what's coming.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah.
so
When we were talking about parasitical entities earlier on, one of the things I noticed about them going into churches, going into gatherings and stuff, and the cell phones that everybody has, they bend their head. And in doing that, I see that these entities tap into the back of the neck and it goes into the spinal column for loosh, for fluid, for many reasons, emotional triggering and this sort of thing. So when you see all of the indigenous, I like to. I rather call them originals because we're born off the land. We're born into these vessels that have genetic history. They have ancestral genetic history and information that the soul will plug into and tap into to carry on this incarnation that we have. So when we're bending our heads a lot and we've got these energies tapping into us, we're also fighting all these different frequencies that are coming in. And I say to people, when you're in a city and stuff and you're in these high-rise buildings, if you think about every apartment, let's say there's 100 apartments in these buildings and everybody's got a Wi-Fi router or connection and they have a 30 meter, 30-foot radius or whatever, everybody is being hit with everybody's frequency in that building.
I lost signal for
Reception.
huh?
In the interview, though, you did not have a good reception.
They keep doing this. They keep doing this every time. Every time I start going into something deep, they knock me out of the system. So anyway, it's really fast. I was about to actually say, if I get knocked out, don't worry too much. I won't be too far away. So
Okay.
they
Well, I
do
was just
this.
wondering. I said, okay. I was trying to fill in the gap of where you left off. No.
Oh, I'm getting used to it now. It's like, this is a paid account. So why does this keep happening? But you just got to go with the flow with what we get given and, just keep pushing through
Well,
it. Don't worry about it.
to me, it's just like the other day, my partner and I, we were going to go somewhere. I can't remember where we were headed off to. And she got a little excited.
Yeah.
And the garage door kept don't want to shut. And I said, settle down. I got out there. I pushed the button. Here, shut down. I said, your energy. And sometimes her energy will get so hard that it'll knock out our cell phones.
Yeah.
And I said, settle down. I mean, because our energy is powerful. We're infinite, powerful beings. And people, when they realize how powerful you are, that's why I tell people, you talked about the dark entity that come and do all this. Well, they will only penetrate if you allow them.
Yeah.
See, if you keep your vibration high, if you keep yourself connected, you know, call upon your guides, whether it's Archangel Michael and the angels or space beings, call upon them if you need help. Even ask questions. I tell people, I said, when you're sitting there watching television and you see something flash by your peripheral vision, just ignore it. It's gonna come back and do it again. It's gonna come back and do it again. And then about the third or fourth time, it's gonna slow down because you're ignoring it. It's gonna slow down, and when it slows down, quickly look at it. Says, "What do you want?" And when you expose him, he'll lose his power. And you know, and because our peripheral vision don't need to focus, but our direct vision does. That's why when it comes by you and you look, it's gone by the time you focus in to look at it. It's gone. But if you ignore it, it's gonna go by until it slows down. When it slows down, then you go, "What do you want?"
Yeah.
And you caught them off guard. And you know, again, what I went through was meant to be,
Yeah.
and what I learned from it is meant to be. And that's why I'm pushing my classes.
Yeah.
I have so much things to share. This this is only the beginning. Teachings of ascension and hidden knowledge. Nothing is hidden if you live a spiritual life.
How do you feel that this works? I mean, there's a lot of us, there's a lot of people in the audience as well. We're doing this, we're stepping out, we're boots on the ground, and we're sharing what we have experienced. We're aware of what works for us. How does this work in an age where you've got these other people, beings, I don't even want to call them people because they don't even deserve that terminology, but you got these people governing our direction with the technologies and the weapons, and we've got the robots, the synthetics, the AIs. How do you feel what we're doing here? I know it's an extreme importance, but how do we show to others that you can still live in this society that has all of this technology? Because I see the technology as a limitation. It's one of those phases that humans go through. It will burn itself out. Whether or not I'm here long enough to see that happen, I feel like I'm already watching it taking place with this whole AI phase that's going on out there. It's only going to go so far. It's not going to get as much information as it needs to keep existing before it starts burning itself out. How do you explain to people that how to be in a cohesion environment with this without getting
Okay,
all sick?
real simple, real simple. That AI was created by a human mind. I have a human mind, so I am powerful. When Chat GPT kept bothering me to ask him a question, I said, "Okay." So I asked him a question. Since a human mind created you, do you consider humans to be your God? He said, "That is a deep, serious question I refuse to answer."
Oh no. Yeah.
And this is from a personal experience. We have those little AIs running around our supermarkets, analyzing you, getting your information, all this kind of stuff. We have one little AI walking around, and when he came up to me, I knew what it was. Started scanning me. I said, "What do you want?" Telepathically, I told him, "What do you want? If you're AI, you can read my mind. What do you want?" He just stopped. And I said, "Remember, a human mind created you. I may be one of them your creators, so you better get back." He turned around and went away from me. The second time he came, second time I was in the shopping center or the supermarket, and he came to me and started doing that again. I got my shopping cart and I rammed it.
Oh shit.
and that AI locked up. Locked up. They are only programmed to do what they meant to do. But if you get them out of craziness, do something like kick them or something like that, they can't analyze. So they freeze. We have all these, like it was in our local news, I mean, our national news here, that San Francisco and all these big cities have these driverless vehicles that deliver, bring people around and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
When the electricity went out, guess what? All those vehicles just died where they were at. They couldn't get it. They don't analyze. So how do you do it? Understand that a human mind created the AI, and the human mind is more powerful than the AI. They may be smarter, but you're not powerful. Again, vibration, frequency, energy. We are more powerful. We are the source.
What do you think they're looking for? I mean, when you go into a supermarket, I mean, if we go back 10 years, they were putting in scanning devices in every single shop, then cameras. Now they've got these AI robots in shops. What do you think they're actually looking for? I know the shop will tell you that they're there to try to stop shoplifters and make it more convenient for you to, do your purchasing. But what do you really think that these AI devices are looking for?
Your DNA.
Okay. All right.
So they can clone you. It's just like a lot of people, you say that, oh man, I had these space being entities, dark space being entities come having, you know, sex with me, trying to steal my eggs.
Yeah.
And I said, well, ask them, do you have kids in another universe? See what they say, or ask them, why do you need my eggs?
So do you,
You got to learn to be powerful enough to ask questions to them. Ask them a question because that would throw them off.
mm,
They're used to just coming in, grab, and go, while you're just laying there taking it as it comes. But if you stand back and say, "What do you want?" You stand back and say, when you question it, they go, "Whoa, never asked me that question. Never had it happen to me." What do I do now? They don't. Again, they are only doing what they are programmed to do. They
yeah.
can't analyze.
All right. All right. So in your teachings, you're teaching not just fundamentals about the basic survivals of your spirit self, and how to communicate with other beings out there. I mean, okay, I'm going to go, okay, I don't want to say I suffer, because I don't suffer. I now understand that the experience that I'm having is accessing other dimensions. So this is the label termed night terrors. And one of the parts of night terrors is sleep paralysis. Back in the early 90s, 95, 96, I think it was, might have been a little bit later than that, I broke sleep paralysis through, as a parent, I was concerned, mothers have such an instinct, for survival of their offspring, etc. And this is where it kicked in. There was a grey standing in my room, a little grey standing in my room, and both myself and my partner at the time, we were back to back, so we were face out. And yet in the experience, we could see each other, we could communicate, we could hear each other, we were telepathic. And I was screaming in my internal lungs to tell the being that was standing there to stop, not touch my kids. And I was actually swearing internally. And that's what broke me out of my paralysis. Now, I had suffered from sleep paralysis heaps of times throughout my lifetime, but this was the one that really stood out because I was able to break free from the grip of. And now every time I go into that feeling state, it's a recognition, it's a symptom of the fact that I'm about to go on another experience into another dimension. So as soon as I feel that, now when we're doing this, it's like, you know, you face your fear. You say, no, I'm not going to allow this to take place anymore. Why are you doing what you're doing to me? And it's the same as when we break that start of ego, when we start to find ourselves. The first initial step that I took was to recognize what ego was and to break its hold and say, thank you for the work you've done. You can go on vacation. I'll call you when you need it. Right. And so it's like, it's not devalued, it's still valued. And this is how I feel about the dark side of it as well, is I would not know what I am aware of if that dark presence hadn't been in my life at the time, even if it wasn't at my own hands. I also see it, and it's a hard thing to explain to people, that being in such the darkness that I was, it allowed me to see that there was more going on in my life. I was being protected from something else in the long run. And once I was able to break free from it, give it thanks, give it appreciation. It's basically the acknowledgement of its existence so I could move forward through these experiences. It's never going to be fully gone, and I appreciate that, because when it does show itself, it's letting me know that my energy levels are low on another aspect, and they're coming in to claim something that is no longer theirs to claim. So when you're doing your teachings and your course that you say, I'm going to be a student of what you're bringing out, what you're offering, how do you go about teaching that appreciation and acknowledgement of the dark is just as important as the knowing of the light energy?
Okay. First of all, the dark, yes. When you again, when you acknowledge them, they lose their power.
Yeah.
And when they come to get you in a mission, like to do sleep paralysis on you, to do this and do that and all that kind of stuff, chances are they're not alone. And they expect you to fight alone because they're going for your weakness. Don't fight them. Call upon your guides. That's all you have to do. Call upon your guides. That's why they're there. As the natives call it, saying that we call upon our ancestral lineages, our spirit animals. We call upon them to back us up, to do the battle for us, to get in the front lines for us. Call upon the angels, the space beings, spirit animals, your ancestors, whomever. Call upon them. Don't fight the battle by yourself, because chances are, when they come like that in darkness, they're not alone. You know. So and like again, if you're awakened enough to control what they're and see what they're doing and all that, don't battle yourself. Call upon your guides.
So how
And
many sorry, how many spirit lives do you think we have? Because I was brought up, still am, I don't trust anybody to save me. I don't have a savior out there waiting to save me every 5 seconds. I
it's,
gave up
it's,
on that. I know
it's
that I have guides. I've seen them. And I know also, this is another question for you, is I can go outside. I can just open my window and look out into the starry night and go, are you out there, Flasher? Show me. Just say hi. And I'll get a response pretty much before I even finish my sentence, which gives me that aspect of hope that I'm not alone. I live on hopium, if you want to give it a terminology. I know there's more out there. I feel it. I've seen it. And it's like, I now know I'm not alone. So whether I'm internally battling, whether I'm spiritually battling, or whatever it is I'm having to fight against, I know I'm not alone, and there's somebody witnessing what I'm going through, or some being, something. So how many, I mean, I've fought a lot of spiritual battles, and I know I've lost a few, and I've
Yeah.
just
Well,
woke,
again,
yeah,
call upon those that are watching over you. Call upon them. If you don't know them by name, just call upon whoever wants them. You know, they're there. They're watching over you. They're hovering over you when you're in. When they come after you, they're hovering over you. All they wait for do is tell them,
yeah,
"Please come help me. Come help me." You can't fight the battle yourself. You know, I go through the same thing. When I feel attacked, I call upon my guides. I don't try to battle it myself because I know I'm fighting more than one deity.
yeah, yeah,
You know, so let's make it even. You bring two, I bring four. You know,
yeah, yeah. I sort of see it now as, me personally, I don't speak for others, but for me personally, I know that I've lived a lot of, and I've proved my own reincarnation cycle. And in doing that, it's like, do you believe or do you feel that they come in, they know us when we're coming back in every time, they know our paths.
well, if they know you like that, you can know them like that too. It works
Yeah,
both ways.
yeah,
You know, and you know they know your weakness, but don't show them your weakness. Show them your strength. Stay connected.
yeah.
You
So,
know,
so do you see this? I know you've obviously heard this. People have spoken that this is a prison planet or a schoolyard, or all these different terminologies. What would you say that this existence is about?
this planet is heaven.
Yeah,
You make it heaven, it's heaven. If you don't, you don't. You take it as it is. You know, you gotta. We're here on borrowed time. It's not a permanent home. You
yeah,
know, and when we get done here, we may go to another planet or go to another universe. Who knows? We're infinite beings now.
yeah.
You know, and so
Yeah, I look at this planet as this is my Garden of Eden. What is your Garden of Eden? I know that I have this thing with animals. They're attracted. Oh, I don't know. They just come to me when they need a bit of help or a bit of guidance, and when they're well enough, then they go off on their way and all of this, and they communicate with me. And it's not just the animals. It's other entities as well that come in, and they let me know that they're here, whether they're in shadow form, or I mean, I've had dimensional beings where I've crossed into another realm, and I've surprised these beings by being there, and they've followed me back in. And when they've come back into our realm, in their realm, they're very solid form like what we are here. And while I'm in their realm, I'm like an orb or an energy ball, or, like what we see here when I see them come in. And then when they come in, they're in shadow form. So they become shadow people or shadow beings. I see them out of the corner of my eye all the time, and I'm having these constant communications. There's always telltale signs that they're there. Do you have a list or something of when these beings are coming in? Are you able to identify different energy signatures that come in?
uh, it's not much to identify. You know, it's like saying, "Do you see a native coming in? You see a Navajo? You see Zuni? You see Hopi? You see what?" Not that.
Yeah,
It's a native. A
yeah,
dark entity is a dark entity. That's all it is. Don't try to categorize them. Don't try to break them down. Don't try to just take it as it is.
yeah,
Generalize it, and that way, if they say, "Well, I'm this, I can be more," no, you're not. You're just a dark entity. You know, get back.
yeah,
And because when they start identifying themselves, they're looking at status.
yeah, yeah,
But if you don't give them that, They don't have the power.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you got to keep your again. I always say, gotta stay connected, keep your vibration up to where, you know, and show no fear. They feed off of fear.
Are we disclosure? People like
Yeah,
us, people like those that are in the group in the chat at the moment, we are experiencers. So are we the future disclosure?
yeah.
Okay. All right. Yep. So is there anything that we've been going for nearly 2 hours? We've got 10 minutes left. Is there anything? Yeah, yeah, I know it goes fast. Eh? It really does go fast when you're having a good time. So, what is there anything you would like to share with the audience about coming courses, the book you've written, how people can contact you? We've got to do this again. I mean, these questions, I've got a whole list of questions we haven't even covered yet. Like, I would like to know some stuff about your traditional, your tribal traditions, because I have my tribal traditions, and I have a couple of different tribes actually. I come from Western Australia. I lived in the desert, and in my background, I ended up living with the originals in the desert. They showed me how to live off the land. They showed me the spiritual traditions, and I wanted to stay. I would have stayed if I wasn't kidnapped back. So, what are your tribal traditions going forward, and keeping them strong within your tribe so they're not influenced by all the technology that's bombarding us?
Okay. Here's what it is. Our thing right now is that animal cycle go to the human cycle. The easiest way to explain this is you take an animal out of the woods, you drop him off. He's going to survive.
Yeah,
He's going to survive out there now. You take a human nowadays, take them out in the woods like that, off. Are they going to survive? No, they lost their survival skills. Learn your skills to survive, because what we're doing in cycle is the AI technology. Technology that's out of the spiritual realm.
yeah,
You're really looking down. As in here in America, we have what we call well, that teaches now. You're down nine. Guess what? You're asking for human help. What about the
yeah,
creator? What about your higher source? You're looking down. You're not looking because you're disconnected from your consciousness. You got to be aware of. This is what I'm trying to
yeah,
share the knowledge about. Get a hold of me. I have a mentorship program where I meet with you once a week, and I got students all over the world. I got some in Sweden, some in France, some in I got them everywhere. Time and date for you with you. It's 1-on-1. Tell me what you want to learn, and I'll share that knowledge with you. All by donation. You get a hold of me on www.onenationtribalalliance.com. Mentorship. You can sign up in there. You know, once you sign up, after that is by donation.
yeah,
You know, and and then this class, like I said, it's $100 USD energy exchange, because the
yeah,
video for your future, you know. So, and once in the mentorship, to share if you have any questions, like with this class, even if I taught it 3 months ago, you see it and you come up with a question, you can email me. I on Zoom, and I'll answer your question. Is important. So, you know, with the energy exchange, I'll be glad to work with you. And as long as I'm not doing any healing, any cleansing, any protection, any kind of different type of ceremony that I do also, I can, but if you let me know in advance, I will schedule you and we can meet at that time. Again, I got a Zoom to where I'll send you the link. You connect. We talk like this. Have any questions? I tell you, I'll give you time and date. You know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
you know because I
Yeah.
believe knowledge is important nowadays. Spiritual
Yeah.
knowledge.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I see it as they took us off the land and they put us into concrete landscape. They put us into these little boxes, box devices. When we used to live in huts, we knew the weather, we knew the land, we could hear it, we spoke to it, we knew where our food sources were. We could feel danger so before it even got to us, so we could protect ourselves. And everything has been masked, everything has been mimicked and manipulated. But we still have these senses as long as we allow ourselves to use them. As you can have all your technology and influences on and around you, but you can still tap into these abilities of hearing. I mean, I hear a vehicle coming in the distance. I know which end of the road that it's coming. I know after being in a place long enough, you know whose vehicle it is. I know the sounds of my vehicle. I know which way the wind is going to blow because of the way the trees talk to me. It's like we have these ancient abilities within us, and tapping into them is very easy. We just got to allow ourselves that acknowledgement that we are that. We are the wind. We are the water. We are everything around us, and this is where I come from. This is my background anyway. So thank you.
Well, if you
So
have anybody that wants to take this class, you
absolutely,
know,
anybody who wants to,
get away right now because it starts February 7th.
oh, good, good. And how long does it go for?
I don't know. There's 13. There, here, let me quickly read to you the lessons that I'm
Absolutely,
gonna be.
absolutely.
Okay, and that is first one is everything vibrates. Second one, in vibration, consciousness tunes reality. The third one is emotion shape matter. The fourth one, inner balance create outer balance. And then the fifth one, channels of vital force. And then six, source as the architecture of creation. Seven, the flower of life is a vibrational code of creation. And third, or eighth, is the inner fire that transmute densities.
Nice.
Nine, polarity as a path to ascension. 10, time as a vibrational field. Earth is a living vibration. 12 is pure intentions as a frequency of manifestation. And the last one is silence is a supreme channel of vibration.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, absolutely. I might have
And
to.
again, I may cover one or two sessions in one, two lessons in one session, or I may just cover one. I don't have a time frame.
Yeah,
That's why I'm recording it. If you I mean, you know, with the energy exchange, I can send you a copy if you can't make it
yeah,
of
yeah,
the class. Well, you get the whole class as we go along. I'll just send you the to everybody. That you
yeah.
know
Absolutely.
sends some.
Well, I'm going to wrap it up. I just would like to say thank you. I mean, I wanted to ask you some things about the blue kachina and the red kachina, what your beliefs on that was, and what do you think of some of these beings that flash us are and shooting across the sky like they do? We're definitely not alone here, but I will save that. I'd like to have you come back again and do another show, and we possibly do a once a month, like yourself. It happens when it happens, and we do a spontaneous combustion. It's basically we have an open round table where we can discuss, these sort of weird things that we've spoken about today, and how we exist in it, in its reality. So I just would like to say thank you very much for coming along today and being a guest. And yes, it was well waited for, considering what we went through. And I'm glad that everything is all good with you at your end. And yeah. So thank you, everybody in the audience who came along and participated today. And we will be seeing you again. And thank you, Epson or Greg, whichever you would like to be called. Thank you for coming
Yes, ma'am.
and
Thank
sharing.
you for inviting me, and y'all have a wonderful day.
Absolutely.
And I am gonna go find me supper now. No.
Yes, it's 1 o'clock here now for us, so in New Zealand. So yeah, and it's pouring with rain here. We've got a cyclone coming down. We've got what they're calling weather coming from America, but I can't see how it's coming from America when it's sort of China and Russia.
Well, we had snow, and it's like 7 or 8 degrees with a wind chill of -1. So,
Yeah, yeah,
but
I
I'm
know.
staying warm. I'm inside.
And, yeah, okay. Well, much appreciation. I'm going to close up here if you'd just like to stay in the background for a moment. So
Okay.
thank you, everybody, and we'll see you again for another round of Roughshod Ramblings. And do give us a like and subscribe. Go to Greg's channel and don't forget to give a like and subscribe there, and look at what's coming up in the future, because this is beneficial for everybody. So much appreciation to all, and make good memories. Make good memories. Be nice to yourself. So thank you, and I'm
Mhm.
closing the stream.